My relationship to water, I don't know that it's changed at all. Since I was a kid, I still love standing on the back of that skiff, looking in the water. I'm just locked in, I'm dialed in, staring down into the water all the time. I think there's just something about seeing the world down there, you know, just getting just a little window, just a little glimpse of what's going on down there. I don't know, there's something about it. It's interesting to think about where you'll be, 10 years from now, like how much you'll learn spending that much time on water. I love the coastal lifestyle. I love that my backyard is the Gulf. I'm spoiled because I'll go out during the week and feel like I have it to myself. I started fishing 2 weeks after the storm, and we would go out on the Gulf and it would be beautiful. Look just like it's supposed to look out there. Then you'd come back into the canal and see all the destruction again, and it's just such a stark contrast. Nothing will ever be as it was, but one way or another, in some form or fashion, I'm going to be here, There's not traffic and red lights and Starbucks on every corner and that kind of thing. You come out here and it's just wide open, no fences. I can go wherever I want to go.
Evan, how long have you been guiding for?
Been guiding since 2017, so I'm bad at math. What is that? 7, 8 years, 8 years? I grew up in southern Georgia. We didn't have any big lakes or big rivers. There wasn't a lot of public land. Where we came fishing was down here on the Gulf.
I enjoy fishing with Evan because Evan's real. You know that if he's excited, he's really excited. If he's frustrated, he's frustrated. Like, it is what it is. In our world today, I think somebody who's comfortable with who they are and somebody who is just gonna be authentically themselves, that's a really special thing to be around. And, we've built a friendship.
I'm pretty much ready to drop it whenever. When I was growing up, we had everything we needed, but when we fished, we didn't spend money to go fishing with guides. When we fished, we just went fishing. I never went on a guided fishing trip till I was already a guide. I feel like this is something I was meant to do. Like, I can go work a job, something else, and maybe I don't fit in there, but I feel like I really get my head around this. Guiding is just me, I go out, my day is my own. I make my own schedule. I like the independence of it. This is where the store was. In our little store, it was kind of had minor groceries. And it got washed away. Some of my friends owned it. They want to rebuild. They cook food there. They had bait and tackle there. Ice, fuel. It's kind of a catch-all store. I could stay down here and not leave for a little while if I didn't want to with that. Since I've lived here, every year, once or twice a year, we always have to prep for hurricanes because there's a hurricane in the Gulf and it has a chance to come here. It's something that you just deal with. Hurricanes are just, a way of life, and they're just going to happen. Some are worse than others, and I've never seen one like this. It'll leave an impression on you, that's for sure. Last September, Hurricane Helene made landfall, basically right on my house, and we took a total loss. The whole house was destroyed, as were many others of my neighbors and friends. The night of the storm, I rode it out just a few miles inland. Once the hurricane had mostly passed, I guess I had some adrenaline, really anxious, so I decided I'm going down there. Well, I was probably the first one back in, if not one of the first few. I was just kind of singularly focused. I just wanted to lay eyes on everything. I tried to come in real early, like before daylight that morning, because it started clearing up at 2 or 3 in the morning. I tried to go in the main way. The roads were blocked with fallen trees, like more than I can handle. But I did have my chainsaw in my truck, so I went around and kind of snaked through some different ways into the back side of Keaton Beach. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. I had to cut a few trees out of the road. To go just a handful of miles, it took me a couple hours to get there. I got as far as I could get in vehicle, and once I stopped, I just I just started walking in the dark. It wasn't very deep when I first started, so I just kept going. At a certain point, the surge waters got too deep, so I finally had to stop. I just found a dry spot, which was like a concrete mailbox. You got surge waters all around you. There's really nowhere to sit and rest. At that point, I was exhausted. I'd been up all night. I just sat on this mailbox. You know, I climbed up here and just sat on this thing for like 2 hours. I could tell the current was moving out, so I'm just looking down. I've made a mark, where's the water? And I would sit there for a while, and I had limited service. I was just looking at my phone, and I'd look down again, and I could see the water went down a little bit, and then, you know, it went down a little bit more, and then I'd get down and go try to walk in. And then it's like, okay, it's still a little too deep. I'd back out and go sit back down. And then when the water went down a little bit, I went over there and laid in that boat.
This one?
Yeah. On the back bench of that boat, I just kind of laid there for a little while, just trying to get a little rest. I was still trying to go in way too early.
That's how we do it, baby, on the Gulf Coast.
Honestly, Hunter, when I first met him, you know, he was a bit of a squirrel in the road. He's all over the place, man. The conversation takes some wild turns.
I got you.
You'll think you're going here, and then all of a sudden it's right here. He's on to the next thing pretty quick.
Dude, the redfish charmer.
The best way to describe Evan is he's kind of like a grumpy cat. He's pretty to himself. I mean, he's not one of those people who is going to get on social media all day. He's got a little salt to him. Once you get to know Evan, he can be really fun and playful, and he's a grumpy cat, but he's our cat.
So you guys want me like looking directly in the camera, calling Dan by name the whole time?
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere around 2018, 2019, I started a podcast. We're here live at Redfish Camp 2024, and I'm hanging out with the amazing guide team and some of the clients here. I wanted to be able to really just meet people in the fishing community and learn from them and hear their stories. And so as I began to do that, eventually I met Jay Carson and Evan. They invited me to come down and spend time with them on the water. They're really generous people.
We used to do a little fishing report at Bass Pro Shop, and I think he came up there, and we had him on as a guest to talk about the new podcast he had started. We just kind of hit it off, and we've been friends since then.
I'm about to just kind of meander through here and look for him, dude. This sun keeps coming out. We're about to break, dude. I'm telling you.
I definitely want to catch fish, and I want to be around fishy people. But more importantly than that, I remember when I was growing up as a kid, my dad and his best friend, they would always go fishing, and I'd hang out with them, and he'd always say, I'd rather fish with my best friend on a boat in the middle of a desert than with somebody I don't like in a world-class fishery. You don't have to always pick and choose between those two things, but it's really important who you share that time with.
Hunter and I probably fished together 5 years maybe. It's always a good time getting out there with him. Mostly we're skiff fishing, fly fishing when we go out. That's something we're both really into.
At the end of the day, how many fish I catch in my life, I have no clue. I have no clue how many I've caught. And one day when I'm an old man, I won't be talking about numbers, I'll be talking about names.
I was a fair ways away from the actual coastline, and it didn't register to me that I was walking through surge water initially. I had an LED spotlight that I had been kind of using all night. You know, I was stepping out during the storm in the lee of the house and shining around, and it just went completely dark on me. And when I got here, I was already in the surge waters. All I could see was like this area we're in right now. Not thinking like a rational person at the time, I just took my flashlight on my cell phone and just kind of looked right in front of me. It was just flooded woods as I was walking in. Way up the dirt road, there was mullet getting hung up, and I was kicking them in the ditch. I was like, man, that's a lot of water. And then I saw a mullet jump. That was thigh deep, walking down the dirt road in the water. And it just like, when I saw the mullet jump, it hit me that that's surge water way up here. Like I'm in storm surge water, and I was not close to the coastline.
Look at this.
It's bait, man. Look at all the pinfish.
They ain't gonna make it. That's a lot of pinfish.
Hey, they sell those for baits, like $8 a dozen. I get a side business going here, selling pinfish. I started hitting a lot of debris, and my little flashlight, I could hit it and it would come on for a second or two, so I'm just getting almost like snapshots, like camera flashes, and I can see it. this house, that place was gone. And it's almost unbelievable when I'm looking, you know, I get just a little beam of light and I see something and it's almost like in a blink it's gone and I have to wait for it to, and I'll just look again just to see if I really saw that. Like this road here we're on now is initially where I walked in, and it was completely covered. I was climbing over decks and roofings and just houses and boats to like even get in here. You couldn't just walk down the road. All the structures are here to the right, and it blew all this debris where these trees are, and these trees hung it all up. There was just a massive like debris field like right here where we're at. As soon as I laid eyes on it, just a little bit, not even in the meat of the neighborhoods and everywhere where everybody lives, it was just stuff floating everywhere. You could see roofs and like you knew it was bad. It was very overstimulating. It was a lot to process.
Yeah, they got airboats in.
Redfish camp is still on, baby. Where do we want to park?
I hate that.
We just pulled into my lot where my house used to be. I've got a camper currently. Supposed to get a FEMA trailer for months now and still haven't heard. I've called them a few times and they won't tell me. They say, yeah, you're gonna get one, but you know, it's 4.5 months after the storm and they won't tell me when it's coming. So I just went ahead and bought another, you know, park model tidy home to, you know, put here for now. As the weather gets better, I've been staying here more and more. Basically, my front porch was, you know, right here. This is my driveway, front porch in my house. Basically, kind of where you see the dirt right here is where my house was. But when I came in that morning, my house had floated from here, I guess, and went basically to the middle of the road and just collapsed in the middle of the road. Like my roof was all the way across blocking the road, and it just basically like floor, walls, roof, just flat as a pancake. Some of my friends and neighbors, their houses, they didn't find them for days or even, you know, weeks. You know, they'd find them the whole house is way off in the marsh. Just some of your personal stuff that you would see, like there would be medicine, like prescription medicine out of the medicine cabinet. You'd find a bottle of it somewhere, and personal belongings are just strewn out everywhere. That was a little odd. I would walk down the street, you know, weeks afterwards and I'd say, oh, that's one of my shirts. Pick it up and look at it and either take it or don't take it, but you know, it'd be just, for like weeks afterwards, I would walk around and say, oh, that was mine. And it might be, you know, a few hundred yards down the road or something in a ditch or something, you know.
That's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Right after the storm, my family and I got back to our house, made sure everything was okay, and I wanted to, as quickly as possible, get down here and be here for Evan and Megan.
It's kind of a little hazy, but I think the morning of the hurricane, you know, I had a few people that were texting me. Hunter was pretty aware early that morning what had happened, and he reached out to me a couple days later and came down and we recorded a podcast.
80% of the people I interview are fishing captains, and I wanted people to have a place where they could give directly to guides. And so my friends at Captains for Clean Water worked with me to create an initiative that would allow people to give directly to guides, no middleman. When people are going through that type of experience, there's no such thing as a small act of generosity. Even if you give $20 to a guide directly, that might be $20 that they can run into town and get their wife's favorite coffee and bring it to her and have that little moment. Sometimes it's those little moments of normalcy that mean the most.
Him and his wife came down. They were a lot of help. His wife, while we were recording the podcast, was with my wife and my family, like digging through, trying to find some of our stuff. They were awesome right there early on, you know, first couple days, just helped out a lot. We were luckier than others. We actually had some debris to sift through and find some things. Initially, I wasn't looking for anything specific. It was just what I saw laying around that I was like, maybe we want to keep this. You know, things that could be taken out of the marsh still be functional. It was almost keep your mind off of things. Like it turned into an Easter egg hunt down here pretty quickly. My wife found her wedding dress, which was kind of gnarly. And one of my clients had it professionally cleaned in Atlanta and brought it back to her, so it was kind of a nice thing. Most of the trips I ran, my clients would come right to my house. I had a dock. We would just leave. They would park in my driveway, and you know, it was nice for me because I'd sit there and drink coffee and wait on them, you know, have everything ready.
Evan's always been open with his boat. Come hang out, come learn from me, come fish the area that I live on. I could just pull my truck up and walk down the dock and hop on the skiff. I would just run down sometimes just to fish for 2 hours, just getting to enjoy this area.
My dock actually was the second where those stairs go up and turn back. It was hanging halfway off that second staircase over there. It was actually hung up on the staircase. I'm really excited when I dock on that dock right there that's 90% done. That'll be the first time I've put my boat on a dock since the storm. Nice dewy, misty morning,
So that's your place?
Mm-hmm.
Dock?
Yeah, the unfinished dock. Probably from that angle, it looks like my house is there still. You get to these points and these stages where, okay, this is done, now I can do that. It all comes in steps, The dock will be a big one. When we get somewhere I can actually feel comfortable living at. Any progress was a big win initially. It was progress finding some of our stuff. It was progress just getting our lot clear of debris. It was progress getting dirt back into our lot to get leveled off where we could potentially put some. It was progress building the seawall back. It was progress and a win, putting a power pole in. Getting sewer back was a win, so it's been progressing, everything's building, everything's good. You can't do one thing till you get the next. Some days are layups and some days are grind, and that's part of it. Oh boy. Every day though, I live off the tides. Well, I'm about to pick it up. Are you good sitting there?
Yeah.
I'm fishing as much as I can. I was fishing 2 weeks after the storm. I'm still gonna be here like more than I'm not.
I can't imagine much tougher conditions for sight casting a redfish with a fly rod. We've got close to 20 knot winds. We got fog, overcast. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart right here.
I really felt like it helped my mental state after the storm because, we're dealing with all this destruction and debris everywhere, and we would go out on the Gulf and it would be beautiful. It would look just like it's supposed to look out there. Then you'd come back into the canal and, see all the destruction again, and it's just such a stark contrast. Out of casting range right now. Redfish are a pretty hardy fish. They're just big, thick skin, thick scales, big bones.
They're beautiful, they fight well.
They can be really, really tough. What gets me excited is the bite. I like how visual it is. You just see that white of his mouth open and then just whoosh. That fish coming up and just throwing that wake, that's pretty cool.
Woo, baby! Man. Fishing for redfish is almost like that feeling you have when you're a kid and your mom cooks you that favorite meal that you've had your whole life. All of a sudden you're home again. Being with redfish is like being at home.
See that line of ripple, that little thin line of ripple out there in the slick? Just past it at like 10 o'clock. Oh, nice. Get it going, get it going. Yeah, dealing with a little adversity right here. I've seen him pop like twice out there. Yeah, he just popped again. There's one happy out there. There's a group of them out there past that ripple. See it splash out there?
Just cut a spring.
Absolute bomb, dude. Let's go, baby. On a bomb. Woo. Dude, it was perfect. He's coming in with the current F.
Like when it hit the water, I knew it could have had a chance of working. I was like, just give it a break.
That's real life right there, dude.
Whew.
Get it done, Ev. Oh, yeah, dude. Woo! Nice. They're a little skittish. Let's go, baby.
Look at that tail.
Give them that little kiss. You can release them. That was an absolute bomb shot, dude.
I knew things were going to change. I knew they wouldn't ever be like they were, but I mean, I never thought about quitting God, no. As long as I'm able to, it's what I want to do.
It's nuts. They'll come up and just smoke it. They ain't even got bad yet. It's still coming.
Sweet. We caught some sturgeon out here last night. 4 or 5 of them things. They were jumping and yeah, it's so good.
Put them on the dock.
We're currently in Keaton Beach. The infrastructure's a little slim, but you can find places to stay.
Yeah. Anybody want an oyster? Bench, drag.
Perry has hotels right up the road, just a few miles, and we want people to come and support the community for sure.
Real nice.
It just becomes really simple and clear here. It's almost like going back in time. It's what you imagine people lived like 50 years ago. It takes away so much background noise in life and just lets you focus on the friendships and the camaraderie and the fishing.
One fish is better than no fish.
Anybody want a piece of trout? Take some trout. Here you go, Trey. Tell me how that is. Sometimes when I travel, people will ask, why do people live in those areas? Over time, those storms bring a perspective, a way that we see life, the way that we see nature. One of the things that we do is we personify them. We even give them names. We make them into people. They're not people, it's nature.
It was ready for sure.
When the fish is ready, pop it out. When the fish is ready, it just
This will be the
Not
thing.
pumping her, dude. That just shows you never took
this long.
What's happen's happened. You know, everybody's progressing forward. The water hadn't taken anything from me, you know. I don't blame the water. It's not the water's fault. It's just water's doing what it does. It's a natural thing. Storms come and it's part of the territory.
We're all shaped by the same thing. When you look at these people, a lot of people will say, oh man, like, look what these people are made of. When I look at it, I say, look what made these people. The nature, the coast, the Gulf. It's the thing that really shaped them.